Do you often feel lonely? Are you trapped in a sea of people, yet feel isolated? Loneliness? It's a universal experience, cutting across age, gender, and status. It's that hollow ache, a lingering sense of disconnect, even when surrounded by others. The irony is that loneliness doesn't necessarily stem from being alone, but rather from feeling alone. Imagine a room full of chatter and laughter, but to you, it's just noise. You're there, but not really. That's loneliness. It's not the absence of company, but the absence of connection. Now, it's important to distinguish between solitude and loneliness. Solitude is a state of being alone without being lonely. It's a positive and constructive state of engagement with oneself. Loneliness, on the other hand, is a negative state marked by a sense of isolation. One can be alone and not feel lonely, just as one can be in a crowd and feel utterly alone. Loneliness isn't a life sentence, it's a moment in time that can be navigated and overcome. So, what causes this overwhelming feeling of loneliness? Well, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Loneliness can stem from a myriad of experiences and life situations. Imagine being in a crowded room yet feeling completely isolated. This is often the result of social isolation, where one lacks meaningful connections with those around them. Or perhaps you've experienced the devastating loss of a loved one, and that empty space they've left behind has become a breeding ground for loneliness. Moving to a new city, starting a new job, or any significant changes in life circumstances can also trigger feelings of loneliness. The unfamiliarity can be daunting, making us feel like outsiders looking in. And let's not forget about societal expectations and social media. These platforms can create a distorted image of reality, making us feel like we're not living up to the norm. The constant comparison can exacerbate feelings of loneliness, making us feel more alienated than ever. Understanding the root of our loneliness is the first step towards overcoming it. Loneliness doesn't just affect our emotions, it has a profound impact on our overall health. This invisible burden can lead to significant physical health problems like heart disease, weakened immune system, and even premature death. It's akin to smoking 15 cigarettes a day or being an alcoholic. On the mental health side, the effects are equally devastating. Chronic loneliness can lead to depression, anxiety, and increased risk of suicide. It can distort our perception of the world around us, making us feel even more isolated and disconnected. But it's not all doom and gloom. Recognizing loneliness as a serious health issue is the first step in dealing with it. Just like any other health condition, it requires attention, understanding, and care. It's not a personal failure or a life sentence. While loneliness can have serious implications, it's important to remember that it's a condition that can be managed and overcome. So, how can we escape the clutches of loneliness? Firstly, it's important to understand that seeking professional help is not a sign of weakness. Therapists and counselors are trained to help you navigate your feelings, and they can offer valuable insight and coping strategies. Reach out, make an appointment, and start the journey towards healing. Now, while it may feel counterintuitive when you're feeling isolated, reaching out to loved ones can be incredibly beneficial. Pick up the phone, send a text, or even write a letter. But remember, it's not about the quantity of social interactions, but the quality. Deep, meaningful connections can help dispel feelings of loneliness, even if you're physically alone. Engaging in physical activity is another potent weapon against loneliness. Exercise releases endorphins, those feel-good hormones, which can lift your mood. Whether it's a brisk walk, a yoga session, or a high-energy dance class, find something you enjoy and make it a part of your routine. And let's not forget about mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness allows you to be present in the moment, to acknowledge and accept your feelings without judgment. It's about understanding that feelings of loneliness are temporary and will pass. Apps and online resources can guide you in starting a mindfulness practice. Lastly, self-care and self-love are crucial in overcoming loneliness. Make time for activities that bring you joy and relaxation. This could be reading a favorite book, cooking a comforting meal, or simply taking a warm bath. These acts of self-care can help you build a positive relationship with yourself. It's essential to remember that it's okay to have moments of loneliness. It's a part of the human experience. But it's equally important to know that you don't have to endure it alone. You have the power to take steps to alleviate your loneliness. In the words of the great poet and philosopher Rumi, the wound is the place where the light enters you. Let your feelings of loneliness be the catalyst for seeking connection, both with others and with yourself. Remember, it's okay to feel lonely, but you don't have to go through it alone. There's help and support available for you. In summary, loneliness is a common yet complex emotion that can be managed. We've explored its roots, its potential health impacts, and looked at ways to fight back. Don't let loneliness define you. Reach out, seek help, and remember you're never truly alone.